Thanks for tuning in to the Elwin channel, a place where we discuss all topics ranging from life, health, history, to design. There's life all over this universe, but the only life in the solar system is on Earth. And in the whole universe, we are the only men. George Wald, American scientist. Interesting fact number 1. All the planets in our solar system are named after Roman deities, with the exception of Uranus, whose name originates from ancient Greece. Fact number 2. Whereas Earth's moon is made of numerous elements that render it to be pretty much a rock substance, many of Uranus's moons are composed of roughly 50-50 ice and rock substances. Fact number 3. Being the 7th planet away from the Sun, Uranus was the first planet ever to have been discovered with the aid of a telescope, whereas the other closer planets were vaguely seen with the naked eye. Today, we're continuing our journey to the planets in our solar system. Our topic in this video revolves all around the planet Uranus, the third largest after Jupiter and Saturn, with a diameter of about 31,500 miles, which brings it to approximately 4 times bigger than the size of our own planet Earth. Much like Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus is yet another ice giant, as they're typically called due to their freezing temperatures. If you recall our previous segment, we mentioned that Saturn isn't the only planet with rings around it, although it is dubbed as the most beautiful of all. Uranus, you see, is just as well surrounded by rings, 13 of them. But they're so light and inconspicuous and faded that to our human eyes, they look practically non-existent. Interestingly enough, Uranus has 27 moons. Additionally, it is a funny-looking planet in that it is the only one that rotates and spins sideways. More accurately, it rotates at a 90-degree angle on its own axis, which makes it look like it's a rolling marble as it revolves around the sun. What's more is that it also spins the opposite direction of the other planets, with the exception of Venus, which performs in the same manner. Now, the planet Uranus spins so quickly compared to Earth that it completes one entire day in 17 hours, but it orbits the sun really slowly, and thus it takes the equivalent of 30,687 Earth days to completely go around the sun. Uranus is so far away from the sun that it takes more than 2.5 hours for sunlight to reach it. And get this, since it does spin in a peculiar 90-degree tilt, its equator is vertical rather than horizontal like the rest of the bunch. Scientists believe that this enigma happened as a result of an astronomical crash between Uranus and another entity that was large enough to knock it over sideways. This also means that only one of the poles is exposed to the sun at a time, which, let's face it, it wouldn't warm up this far away planet as much as we would like. And thus, the other pole is subjected to extremely dark, freezing, and dreary winters for more than 20 years at a time. Indeed, the polar vortex has got nothing on Uranus if you ask me, and much like the last 2 planets we discussed, Uranus is not physically tangible due to its composition of dense and ice-like elements such as water, ammonia, and methane, although its tiny core is actually made of a tangible rocky substance. And of course, like any other planet, it has a story of Greco-Roman origins behind it. Having been named after the Greek mythological god Uranus, which means the heavenlies or the skies, he was known as one of the original gods of the Greek pantheon. His Roman version is known as Caelus, although maybe not as widespread or as well known as the Greek account. Although there is some conflict and controversy regarding his background and relations, many people believe he was a partner of Gaia, more famously known as Mother Earth. With all of Uranus's and Gaia's multiple children, there was much darkness that ensued and surrounded them due to his abhorrence for his own offspring. He feared that they would overtake his throne, and thus he locked them away in Tartarus, or an abyss of sorts. One of his sons, Saturn, helped overtake and castrate his own father and threw him into the sea as he successfully brought relief to the hurting heart of his mother, Gaia. Unfortunately, as we already know from Saturn's story in the last video, the story repeated itself in his own life, in Saturn's life. Many people believe that Uranus symbolizes the spirit of genius, creativity, innovation, imagination, and change. And thus, many folks look to it as a catalyst for positive change and pushing through their own boundaries. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. We can't wait to see you next time as we wrap up our planetary series.